What's good, everybody? It's your boy Kirk Ray Smith. We're going to simulcast the I Am with Kirk Ray Smith podcast. I'll repeat that a couple times. This podcast will be available wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple, whatever major podcast platform. The I Am with Kirk Ray Smith podcast is available. It is an independent production, so we get to go at it. So we're going to simulcast, man. I'm going to do this on Facebook Live. So from time to time, I like to jump on Facebook and like to kind of share, give you a visual as I'm speaking. Obviously, my podcast is 100% audio. We're not set up yet for a lot of video, although a lot of the videos, or a number of them, or at least snippets, are located on my YouTube channel. That's the I Am Kirk Ray Smith YouTube channel, so you can get everything there. So just happy, man. What's up, James? How you doing, man? Hope everything's going well for you, man. Glad you can join us. Hey, tag your friends, text them, call them, whatever it is, and tell them to jump on with your man, Kirk Ray Smith, because we're going to make it happen, man. We're going to make it happen. I'm excited about this topic, and it's going to be good stuff. It's going to be good stuff, man. So it is now 6:32, so we're going to give everybody maybe another minute or so to jump on this live. So again, man, put folks' name in the comments, tag them, call them, whatever you got to do, reach out to them, tell them to jump on. If they don't have a lot going on tonight, you can sit back, relax, get a beverage or something, and gather around, man. And it is kid friendly. But the insight, man, I think it'll be invaluable to a lot of people. And I thank everybody for following the I Am Kirk Ray Smith, not just the podcast, but my Facebook page, the YouTube channel, IG. Appreciate all the support. I do everything in my power to put out positive vibes only. I try to stay away from negativity. I try to do the best I can to encourage people to press and to move forward, man. And that's what it's going to be about tonight, man. Same thing. So with that, man, let's get this live moving now. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually going to partake in a few sticks, a few cigars. Not trying to give out free advertising, but I'll mention them again later. But I got the Tatiana, the cherry flavor right there, and then the Tabak, this Drew Estate Tabak, which is a great cigar. You know what I mean? Great cigar, like for coffee, actually. Even though I'm not drinking coffee, I'm actually drinking fruit punch tonight. But we're gonna make that happen, man. So let's get going, man. Hope everybody having a good end to their week. Hope y'all ready to have a great week. And we're just gonna make this happen, man. We're gonna make it happen. So we're gonna get the podcast fired up, and we're gonna make this happen, man. So let's go. All right, let's go. Second. All right, so welcome to the I Am with Kirk Ray Smith podcast, and really excited for this month's show. Definitely always exciting to simulcast on Facebook Live, from time to time IG Live. But it's always exciting to put these podcasts out, and really appreciate the listenership. And if you have not subscribed to the I Am with Kirk Ray Smith podcast, please do so. Subscribe to it. Jump on Apple, jump on Spotify. Give me those 5 stars. Put that like on there. That way, every time we put out a new recording, you'll get the notification. And just spread the word, man. And listen, this is unadulterated. You have a few little, advertisements here and there, but for the most part, man, this is just straight me, man. Just bring it. That's what I do. I love to have guests from time to time. I'm always excited about that. Let's go, man. It's your boy Kirk Ray Smith. Y'all know what it is, man. Let's go. So, what I want to do is I want to talk about self-positioning. And y'all have heard me talk a lot about, and let me know if you can hear me if you have any problems. I kind of got my mics sort of spread out, because with this simulcast, it's a little bit tricky technically. So make sure you guys can hear me clear. If you can't, let me know. But at any rate, you hear me talk a lot about self-care and how important it is to take care of yourself. How important it is to put yourself first. How important it is to love yourself. And loving yourself is actually something you have to pay attention to, and it's really a choice you got to make on a daily basis. That's just something that's really, because it's easy to get distracted and bogged down by kids and relationships and jobs and everything else, whatever else you have going on, helping people out, family members, extended family, whatever. So it's easy to get caught up in helping people and looking out for people, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you've heard me say several times that, you kind of you're here for two reasons, to fulfill your passions, to live them out, and to fulfill your purpose, live out your purpose, and your passion and your purpose. You're here to do those two things. And so your passions are all about you. It's about how you feel. It's about things you love, things that make you happy, things that bring you satisfaction, things that bring you peace, things that bring you joy. Whatever it is, that's your passion, and those are yours. And you don't really owe anyone an explanation for those. Those passions belong to you. You don't have to ask permission to pursue your passions. You don't need clearance to have passion. Those are yours, 100% yours. It's a monolithic proposition. Those are your passions, and you own those. And you have a responsibility to yourself to seek out those passions, learn what they are, discover what they are. And like anything else, passions evolve over time, right? You continue to have new passions, and that's okay. But the other thing is purpose. So while passion is about you personally, about me personally, purpose is about other people. It's about helping other people. It's about making a difference in other people's lives. How do you make their lives better? How do you be a support, a leader, a guide, whatever it is? That's what purpose is all about. So purpose is more external. Passion is 100% internal. But it's impossible to really be good at your purpose if you're no good at your passion. That being said, there's a lot of us who are literally fulfilling our purpose, but we're really not fulfilling our passions. So our purpose becomes either a drag on us, a burden, or the sum of who we are becomes our purpose, which that shouldn't be that. You see what I'm saying? Because there's more to you than just your purpose. It's your passions too. So at any rate, so when you start talking about self-care and all of that, that's important, that's critical, that's a daily choice. So an extension or part of self-care, as far as I'm concerned, is self-positioning. How do you position yourself, personally? How do you position yourself? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the fact that here's what happens. Here's what I would tell people over and over many years ago, that once a person knows that you depend on them, once they recognize that you need them, once they recognize that, it's almost like if you didn't have it, where would you be? And I'll use a job, for example. Once an employer knows that your whole survival, your existence is predicated on you having that job, and without that job, you would fall apart, and your life would never be the same. You would suffer, whatever it is, you depend on it. See, once they know that, a lot of times, then they start to use that against you. So once people recognize that you're dependent on them or dependent on something, they weaponize it against you. And what generally happens in that case, they don't come out the gate and they don't weaponize it right off the bat. But what they'll do is they'll sort of wait for certain moments. So if you try to, stand up for yourself, or if you try to be brave, or you try to do something that they don't agree with or whatever, then they're going to use the fact that you need them against you. So they'll treat you accordingly, right? And I don't fully understand why, but I do know that's an unfortunate part of the lower nature of human nature, is that people love to use the fact or use your dependency against you. They weaponize your dependency, your need for them. And whether it's manipulation, control, whatever it is, that's what happens. And so a lot of times, if you and I have passions and things that we want to do, then we won't do them. We won't live them out. And in fact, most people die never really fulfilling their passions and even their purposes, for that matter, because they're afraid of the impact they might have on other people, or they're afraid of what other people might think. You know what I mean? So they don't fulfill it because they're afraid. So then they really die with all these passions unfulfilled and this purpose undone, unfulfilled, and they just die in that state. And how unfortunate is that? Now, Mark Twain put it this way. Mark Twain said, now, I'm sure other people said it, all right? But Mark Twain, a quote, is the two greatest days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. Again, the two greatest days in your life is the day that you were born and the day you figure out why, you understand why you're here, okay? So what happens is, usually how life goes for most of us is like this. So, okay, you're born, right? Okay, great day. And a lot of times we never figure out what we're really here for because we think, well, I'm supposed to have babies and raise kids, or whatever it is that you do, you kind of get programmed and stuck in that cycle, whatever it is. But in your heart, you want to do something different. You want to do something more. You want more out of life. You have dreams, you have visions, you have desires. It's things you want to accomplish with your life. But you don't really do it because you're afraid of whatever or whomever or however. You're afraid. So you never really do it. And you never really discover why. Now, you can come up with supplemental or substitutes, if you will, or things you can make up as to why. But you know in your heart, that's really not why you're here. You see what I'm saying? You're doing what you have to do. Don't get me wrong. That's survival. So you're doing what you have to do. Like most of us, we do what we have to do. We have to survive, but we never really understand what it's like to thrive. Like we don't know what that means. So it just comes down, so you go into survival mode. We all do it. So you get locked into just trying to make it, right? But you can't dream it. You can't envision it. Therefore, you never live it. You're just trying to make it day to day, right? And so that's a mistake, y'all. Like we can't do that. So I want to talk to you about self-positioning. And how do you put yourself in a position where you're not dependent on people, number one, and you're not under the thumb or the control of another human being, institution, entity, organization, company, or group, that you're no longer under their control. So you can position yourself to independence. Now, I'm not talking about independence where you're arrogant or cocky. We all need somebody sometime for something. I'm not saying that. What I'm talking about is you need to position yourself, put yourself in a position of strength where you're not as dependent and that you can make your own decisions. You know, we've heard a lot about submission. A woman's supposed to submit to a man, do what the man says and all that. See, most people who ride that submission train, who bang on that, like a lot of men who are adamant about women needing to submit to them, it's a trick because it's designed to cover up and pacify the insecurities of weak men. A lot of times with guys, they're weak. And so they figure if I can control a woman and I can get her to do whatever I say, how I say, when I say, then I can cover up my insecurities and my own deficiencies and I don't have to put the work in. Because a lot of times there's a double standard in our society where a woman is supposed to submit and do whatever the man tells her to do, however he says, don't go left without his permission, don't go right without his permission, try to please him, make him happy, blah, 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 right? And no matter what her dreams are, no matter what her desires are, she has to please this man and do what he says. All the while, he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's a man. So if he does things, there's an excuse for his mistakes. There's an excuse for his indiscretions or whatever it is because he has this excuse because he's a man. So he's allowed to do certain things, but you're a woman and you're not. So a woman, you can't be trusted. You're not smart. You're unintelligent. And all these other things, you're naive, whatever it is. And so you sort of get put in this trap, this cage where you don't really want to be. You see what I'm saying? But unfortunately for a lot of women, because of circumstance or how their lives went, they're not in a position to break away from that. You see what I'm saying? So again, independence, self-positioning is not about not needing people. It's not even about not caring what people think fully. But what it means is you position yourself where you are not dependent on another human being, entity, organization, institution, boss, company, or group. You're not dependent on them. You're free. Okay? So what I'm talking about is freedom. Self-positioning is freedom. All right? So let's hit this area. All right. One, ask yourself this question. Are you really happy right now? Are you really, really happy right now with where you are in life? I mean, I'm asking you. Obviously, you can't answer because I'm the only one with the mic. But are you really, really happy with where you are right now? Are you really happy? You really like where you are? You really like where you are in life? You like your position? You like your situation, all that, right? You love your job and everything is great. Well, for most of us, the answer is going to be no, right? That's just a reality. Next question, and maybe you might have answered in the first one, But do you feel like you're fulfilling your dreams? Are you living out your dreams? Are you pursuing the things that are important to you? Are you really going after things that are a big deal to you? You know what I mean? Are you really pursuing your dreams? Or are you sitting back dreaming up stuff, thinking about things that you want to do, and you never seem to not only not achieve it, but not even pursue it seriously for other reasons? One of the biggest reasons that we don't pursue our dreams and don't live out our visions, things we visualize, and build the lives that we want, is because of fear. And we're afraid either to fail, or you're afraid of the impact it might have on other people. You're afraid of what they may think. You're afraid because you don't have someone's blessing to do it, and all of that. I'm not going to get spiritual on you. As I mentioned before, this is straight fruit punch, by the way, guys. Fruit punch. Told you, kid friendly. But I'm not trying to get spiritual on you. But it's my belief that God has given us everything we need to be successful in this life. Seriously. Everything we need to be successful, God has given it to us. Right here in front of us. And if you're still vertical and you have breath in your nostrils, your heart is still beating, then you have a chance and an opportunity to live out your dreams, live out your passions, pursue your purpose. If you're still alive, you still got a chance. And everything you need is in front of you. And I think most of us know that. See, most of us know what we want to do. Most of us know where we want to be, who we want to be with, how we want things to go. Most of us know what we want to do, but we won't do it. And that's the saddest thing. It's one thing to not know, but it's a whole nother thing to know what you want to do, know what makes you happy, know what makes you feel good, know where you want to be, know who you want to be with, know the things you want to accomplish. All these things, you know what you want, you know, but you still won't do it. That's worse than being ignorant, man. Because ignorance is bliss in this case. If you have no idea, okay. But if you know in your heart what you want to do, if you know what makes you happy, if you know what's going to make you feel successful, I mean, if you know all these things and you still won't move, man, that's the worst. That's the worst. As I quoted Mark Twain earlier, what he said, 2 greatest days in your life is the day you're born and the day you figure out why. Imagine living an entire lifetime never knowing why you're here. And the answer is in your heart. It's what moves you, what gets you going, man. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Right there, you ain't got to ask nobody. You ain't got to read 8 books, watch 100 videos. You know in your heart what makes you happy. You know what makes you feel good, that gives you life, that makes you feel purposeful. You know the answer. So the question is, what's holding you back from pursuing that? Why? Why won't you do it? So now, if you know the what in terms of your passion and your purpose, and you're not moving forward, the next question is why not? Take a look at that. Take a look at it. Come on, y'all, just relax and kick back with me for a minute, man. If you smoke, grab your cigar or something, or whatever you like to smoke on. Like I told y'all, man, it's all fruit punch tonight. That's it. But think about it. So self-position. So one, you got to ask yourself all those questions. Now, I'm going to shift a little bit. And I'm going to talk about something a little more tangible than that. I'm going to talk about your money situation. That's right, money. So here it is. First of all, and again, I'm not going to turn this into a class, but for some of y'all who know me, y'all know that I teach on these things. I have a LLC and I help a lot of people with stuff like this. But I'm going to give you something basic. Okay, if a person has control over you because for economic reasons, meaning that you're scared to step out, you're scared to pursue your dreams, you're scared to pick up and leave, and you know you don't want to be there. Like they say that most people, or not most, but a lot of people, high percentage of people are married or with somebody that they're not in love with, and they're away from the person that they are in love with. So they're not with who they're in love with, but they're with who they're not in love with, right? And there's a lot of reasons why that's the case, right? So I'm not in a position to judge anybody or tell anybody how they should live their lives. It's your choice. But that's a true statement. So when you ask yourself, or you know people like that, why? It's fear for whatever. In some cases, it's money. He or she is the breadwinner. Because if I leave them, then I'm going to be poor, I won't have whatever, right? Okay. So if it's economics that's keeping you from pursuing your passions, pursuing what makes you happy, pursuing what makes you feel good, pursuing what gives you life, whatever it is, then what are you doing to position yourself financially, economically, where that can no longer be the case? See, what it comes down to, when you start talking about pursuing your passions and your purpose, you got to start eliminating excuses as to why you're not doing that. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's never a perfect time to step out on faith. There's never a perfect time. There'll never be a perfect time to pursue, right? That's not how it works. Part of the pursuit is the risk of it, thereof. Part of the pursuit is the butterflies in your stomach. Listen, until you do something that scares you to death, you'll never know what success is anyway. So until you do things that scare you, you'll never know what success looks like. Like you cannot expect to be successful, to live out your dreams, to accomplish all these things you want to accomplish easy. Don't work like that. See, you have to do things that are scary if you're going to be successful. You know how many people go back to college who haven't been to school in years, and they're nervous and they're afraid, but they go anyway and get their degree, right? There's a lot of people who take risk, and I'm going to tell you right now, in most cases, the stuff you're thinking in your head, listen, that ain't reality. A lot of times, what you think is way worse than your reality. What you think might happen ain't even close. But nonetheless, we let those thoughts in our head and those fears keep us away from pursuing our dreams, pursuing our passion, pursuing our purpose. We let it happen all the time. So when you start talking about your money, right, what are you doing to change that? What are you doing financially to change that? Are you creating revenue streams? Are you saving your money? Are you budgeting? What are you doing if that's the reason? If that's truly the reason why you won't do whatever it is you need to do because of economic reasons, then what are you doing to eliminate that excuse? That's the question. So again, I'm not going to lecture you, but I'll give you something practical. Okay? So think of yourself like a business. All right? So I'm going to use myself. So I'm going to think of myself as Kirk Ray Smith International. Right? I'm a company. I'm just a company right here. Me, right? So all businesses have bank accounts in most cases. So when you get paid from your job, however your money comes in, wherever it comes in most cases, more likely than not, it comes by way of a direct deposit, right? Into your checking account. So you can just nod to yourself. It goes to a checking account, right? Okay. So we're going to call that checking account your operating account. All right? So that's your business's operating account, your checking account, right? And you may have a savings account that's attached to it. So whether it's for overdraft protection or whatever it is. All right? So that savings account, we're going to call that your operating reserve. All right? So your operating reserve is there to help you when you don't have enough money in your operating account, your checking account, to cover certain expenses. So you go into your savings, your operating reserve, to cover the expense. All right? Are you with me? So your checking account, so for Kirkray International, my checking account, primary checking account, is my operating account. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to help you understand something, man. It's basic stuff. Just hear me out. And then you have a savings account, which is your operating reserve. That's what we're going to call that. All right. Now, if you want to sustain yourself long term, you need to have what people call a nest egg, right? Or a rainy day fund or whatever. Years ago, my rainy day fund used to be money in an envelope in a drawer. That was extending my rainy day fund, but that's a story for another day. But anyway, you have this nest egg. Okay? So now I'm talking about 3 accounts. Your checking account, which is your operating. Okay? Your savings account, which is your operating reserve. And then this additional savings in a completely separate bank that's not connected to your operating reserve or your operating account. A totally separate savings account somewhere else in another banking institution. That is your nest egg. That's your rainy day fund. Okay. Now, 3 accounts. That's all we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you how to put yourself in a position financially to be less dependent, and how do you move away from survival mode. Because survival mode means you're going to do whatever it takes to survive. And a lot of times, folks, I know me, I was raised in the survival mode my entire childhood, was survival. That's all I knew. So when you're surviving, that's all you're doing. You're not thriving, you're not excelling, you're not improving, you're not excellent, you're just surviving, right? Because you don't have time for anything else, extras. So let's talk about moving out of survival mode. So if I know you're in survival mode and I know I can dominate you economically, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to do whatever I say. You're going to keep sitting there. You're going to keep taking my BS, and you ain't going to question me, and you ain't going to battle me, because you ain't going nowhere because you depend on me. All right? So you're just going to sit there and just listen because you don't have any financial independence and you dependent on me economically. Okay? It's going to change that. So now, you should try your best, right? So let's just say, for easy math, let's say you make $2,000 a paycheck. All right? That's it. $2,000 a paycheck. And so what you want to do is you want to take 3 paychecks, right? You want to have at least 3 paychecks in your operating reserve. All right? So if I make $2,000 a check, I'm going to try to save $6,000 in my operating reserve. And how you start saving, you start with the first dollar. That's it. So now, I want to say, now you're not going to be making a lot of interest on it, but that's not the point at this time. So you want to save 3 checks into your operating reserve, your savings account, $6,000. That's the goal. All right. Now, if you're making $2,000, again, say every couple of weeks, whatever the case may be, and let's say your monthly expenses are, I don't know, $3,000 a month. Because you make $4,000 roughly, your monthly expenses is $3,000 for giggles. All right. So then what you want to do is you want to have at least 2 months worth of expenses in your nest egg, which is your rainy day account. Does that make sense? Your rainy day fund. So, hope I'm making sense. So 2 months worth of expenses in that account. So now, if your expenses are $3,000 a month, you want to have $6,000 in that account. All right? Making sense? So 3 paychecks in your operating reserve, and 2 times your monthly expense in your nest egg. All right? Then you want to have at least whatever the amount that you have in your nest egg. You got to listen to me closely, folks. Whatever the amount that you have in your nest egg, you want to have at least that amount in available credit across your credit cards. So you want to always maintain at least $6,000 in available credit along with $6,000 of cash in your nest egg, along with, $6,000, and you will have $6,000 in your operating reserve. All right, so 3 paychecks, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, that's 6,000. 2 months worth of expenses, which is another 6,000 in the nest egg, and then at least $6,000 more in available credit. All right, so now you're up to $18,000 in what you call liquidity. Liquidity simply means that's how much cash you have access to. So you would have $18,000 in liquid, right? Now, when you do the math on that, if my expenses are $3,000 a month, right? That's pretty good to have $18,000 in liquidity and your monthly expenses is $3,000. You can leverage that. Now, of course, I'm just making up numbers. You can, whatever number you want to use, but I call this the 3-2-1 rule. 3-2-1 rule. 3 times in your savings, 3 paychecks, 2 months worth of expenses in your nest egg, and at least whatever you have in your nest egg in available credit. 1 time that amount. Now, you could change, those numbers can be 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want it to be, but the principle is you have to start somewhere. Now, what happens when you do that? You start to position yourself financially to come out of that situation, whatever it is, right? Now, that's on the money side. Now, on the relationship side, so again, we're talking about self-positioning. That's how you can change your situation, guys. Now, you don't have to do that in public. Like you can, what I just said, you can do that privately. You don't have to post it on Facebook. You don't have to announce it to everybody. Just do it. Just do it. On the relationship side, you got to take inventory. So now you got to start asking yourself questions about the people you spend your time with. And I'm not telling you anything new, but your environment will win out. So whoever and whatever you're around, that's what you're going to become. Your environment will win out every single time. Whatever you're around, whomever you're around, will determine what you're going to be. It's that simple. You don't need a prophet or some psychic or some palm reader to tell you your future. Look who you spend your time with. Look who you talk to. Look who you deal with. Look who you hang around. Your children notwithstanding. Not forgetting them, but they're separate from this. In general, the people you spend your time with, the people you text, the people you comment, you post, you hang out with, drink with, whatever you do, the people that you spend your time around, that is what you are going to become more than likely. In fact, that's what you are. Because if you were something different, then those people won't be around you. So if you're hanging with people who bring you pain, frustrate you, stress you out, upset you, right? Some call it stressing me street, right? They stress you out, causing you issues, upsetting you, frustrating you, right? Causing all kind of body aches or whatever it is. See, those people are not conducive to your future because see, if you don't have your health, then nothing I just shared will be beneficial. And you got to understand the greatest risk to your health is stress, man. The greatest conveyor and facilitator and carrier of stress is other people. They will kick your behind. People will wear you down and they will crush you and destroy you. And the thing about stress, it's a silent killer. And it's no respecter of persons. Got to do with genetics, none of that. It will take you out, man. Stress will destroy you. People will destroy you. And once we destroy you, once we kill you and you sick, or you sick and you ill and in bad health, once we wear you down, we're on to the next. You drop dead tomorrow, we're going to step over your body and figure out how to divide up the spoil. Whatever you left behind, then we're going to try to figure out who gets what, man. We'll cry for a minute. We'll go to the funeral. We'll read the obituary, whatever. But, man, people are going to keep moving. Nobody's going to stop enjoying their life. They're not going to stop doing what they do. Not going to stop living their best life. Not going to stop having fun. Not going to stop, taking trips and getting married and new jobs and building houses and whatever. Nobody's going to stop because you dead, bruh. Or sick up in some hospital somewhere. Nobody's going to stop for you. So my thing is, if the world is not going to stop when I'm gone, if the world's not going to stop when I'm sick and laid up in a hospital somewhere, right? If no one's going to stop on account of me, right? Then I need to stop letting them do what they do to me. You need to stop. You need to no longer allow people to stomp you, man, and crush you and hurt you. And then they expect you after they hurt you. And it's one of those, it's a phenomenon, like I can't fathom it still to this day. How is it that someone has the power to hurt you, which people do, right? People have the power to hurt me. They can absolutely hurt me, man, without question. They have hurt me. But how is it that they have the power to hurt you? Then they decide the methods you use to cope with the pain they cause. Then they decide the timeline for your healing. And if you fail to use an acceptable method or acceptable methods to them, they get mad at you all over again. So that's twice dead. First they hurt you. Then they get mad at you because you're using a method that they don't agree to or agree with. Right? That's twice dead. Then they get mad because you're not healing, you're not better fast enough. So the timeline is off according to them. 3 times dead. So first they kill you by hurting you. Then they kill you by telling you what methods you should use. And if you use the wrong ones, you're wrong again. And then they tell you should be healed, you should be better by now. And if you're not, then you upset them again. So now they mad. So 3 times dead. How many times in your life or how long will you allow people to keep killing you, killing you, killing you? And you take it. Why? Sex? Security? Comfortability? Money? Status? Reputation? Perception? Why do you allow it? And there are millions of people whose lives were cut short, not because they were bad people, not because they did some egregious thing and they got punished for it. And first of all, if that was the case, none of us would be here. No, because they allow people to stress them out. Stress them out, man. Tear them apart. And in many cases, it's multiple people all at once doing this to us. All at once, man. Who can handle that? And then you start going other places to soothe your pain. So whether that's drug abuse, drug addiction, alcoholism, bad temper, even poverty a lot of times is a consequence, a result of stress. People give up, throw in the towel. Whatever it is, you quit. So what you got to do is you got to position yourself for that to not be the case, guys. And I'm telling you right now, in those situations, there's nothing you can say, nothing you can do. There's no trip you can take, no flowers you can buy. There's nothing that you can do that's going to change that. Because some people are just hell-bent on dominating and controlling you. That's it. Kids do it to parents, parents do it to kids, significant others do it to significant others, siblings do it to each other. I mean, grandparents, like there's always somebody trying to control us, trying to seize control and take the throne of you, of me. There's always something out there seeking to dominate us and control us and assume power over us. And what we do too often is we capitulate or abdicate the throne of ourselves to other people. When, again, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, that, man, God has given us everything we need to be successful in this life. If you are vertical, that means you still have a chance. That means that you're not done yet. So why do we continue over and over and over again to allow people to destroy us and to push us and take their foots figuratively on our heads and push us into the ground? Why? You have to position yourself, folks. We, me, you, everybody have to position ourselves so we can realize what true success is, so we can pursue our passions and be good at our purposes, man. And too many of us are failing at both. You are not living your passions. You're living your duties, man. You're following directions. You're reading a manual. You're following instructions. You're checking boxes. You're not. That's not passion, man. Passion is not checking boxes and doing your duty. I call that the Army game. Like, I was in the military for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? And the Army game is whatever they tell you to do, you just do it. Not because you want to, not because you feel like it, but because they told you to do it. So you just do it. So that's a lot of us living an Army game lifestyle, man. Your whole life, you just following steps, man. And you're doing what you're supposed to do, what got to do, I guess. But you are not living out your passion. And you know that I know when you sit down in your quiet time, whether it's in your car, in your house, or wherever you are, you know you're not happy. And sometimes you can be out with your friends, your family, whomever, and everything is in slow motion because you ain't really there, because you somewhere else dreaming off into your passion, and you dreaming of a place that you can't go, man. That's like like me dreaming I can go to Mars tomorrow. Well, I can't do that tomorrow, but I'm dreaming about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of us do. We sit back and we have those pipe dreams, and because that's all it is, because you're not pursuing it. And I'm not saying everything got to happen right away. In many cases, this stuff is gradual. But what you need to do, the minimum you should be doing right now is pursuing whatever your passions are. Putting yourself, again, self-positioning yourself to be there, to do it. And everything you need is right in front of you. That's what I'm here to tell you. So you can stop being dominated by society and by other people trying to dictate to you how you should live your life. Don't you want to do what you want sometimes? Don't you want to set your own rules? And let me tell you something, man. Listen, it is absolutely 100% okay with God. It's okay with the universe for you to do things that make you happy, that may not make others feel the same way. It is all right for you to make yourself happy, even if nobody else in the room is. Nobody else in the house is, but you are. It's okay to go after things. And you don't need permission and endorsements and, 51% of the vote. Like, you don't need that. It's all right for you to be happy and to smile. And even if nobody else is happy and smiling, man, it's all right, man. You don't always got to check and look across the room and see if it's okay to be happy. Because I'm telling you right now, most of us is like that. Ain't nobody looking at us like that. Ain't nobody looking at us seeing if they can get permission to be happy. Ain't nobody checking with you. Ain't nobody checking with me to see if they can pursue their dreams. Ain't nobody up in the middle of the night worried about you, worried about me. Why are we doing it? Why are we up worried about other people? And as we get close to the end of the podcast, another question. How many of y'all right now, and seriously, right now, so whether you get this later on or you listen to it on Facebook Live, wherever it is, if you hear this a year from now, I got a question for you, because the question will be relevant in a year. It'll be relevant in 2 years. Hell, it'll be a relevant question in 5 years. But how many of y'all right now know of a group of people that's getting together this upcoming week trying to figure out how to make your life better? How many of y'all know of meetings that are taking place to make your life better? Who's getting together to figure out how to make Kirk Ray's life better? Who's getting together around the table and coming up with a strategy on how to please you and make you happy? It is not your birthday. Who's strategizing to show you gratitude and respect? Who's setting up the event to give you your damn flowers? Who's trying to figure out how they can apologize for what they did to your ass? Who is trying to see what can they do to fill the voice in your life? I just want to know who's doing this right now. What group is it on the calendar? Are they going to meet at a Starbucks, a Dunkin' Donuts, a nice restaurant? I don't know. At a park? Are they going to meet at somebody's house? Like, where's this meeting taking place about you and it ain't your damn funeral? Because we'll get together to bury you. We'll meet up on how to bury you. We'll meet up on how to divide up what you left behind. We'll figure that out. But we're not going to meet on how to make your life better while you're living. And see, very few people, maybe some of you guys are. Hey, praise God. God bless you. It's amazing. But how many of y'all right now know that there's a meeting taking place to take care of you? Exactly. There's no meeting happening like that. So my thing is, have a meeting by yourself. I call it a committee of one. Meet with yourself, about yourself, on how to self-improve your life. Have that meeting. And discuss that with yourself, internal dialogue, and you figure out a strategy on how you're going to make your situation better. You see? And that's what it comes down to, guys. Not being positioned by others, but self-positioning. How are you going to position yourself to live out your passions and your purpose, man? And that's my challenge. That's my challenge, man. Self-positioning. Put yourself in a position of strength so you can do the things that you want to do, all the things you desire. You do that. You put the work in, and you see what happens. You know what I mean? So that's what's up, man. But listen, man, I appreciate y'all joining me. It's always exciting when I do my podcast. It's always exciting to do a simulcast, to be out there so people can hear this. But again, if you don't follow me on my personal page, Kirk Ray Smith, please do. If you don't follow me on I Am Kirk Ray Smith Facebook page, and IG and Twitter for that matter, do that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need your support. You can always go to IamKirkRaySmith.com for booking information. If you want to link up, you want me to come in, address a group, and I'll go anywhere in the world. I've been all over the place, so I'm international. You know, we can make it happen, but you can always, again, go to the website, get all that information, and then we can make something happen. You know what I mean? All the contact information is right there. So go to the website, check me out. Appreciate everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed the live. Share the live. Make comments. I know it's pretty long, about 40-something minutes, but hey, you can listen to it on the way to work and what have you. But listen, man, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a great week. Do great things, and I'll promise to do the same. 1.